I've been pining to come back to this timeline that I created. I remember, we were looking at it in a video where we looked at this timeline on when the console war died for Xbox in 2016 when they went day and date, and we had, a content creator in that context, basically talking to Phil on Twitter, and Phil pretty much saying, we didn't want to create any walls. And then we looked at Insomniac telling somebody in their, pipeline that Marvel Spider-Man 2 was never going to appear on Xbox or PC. Sorry, Marvel Spider-Man 1, the PS4, and it was a permanent exclusive. Then we also look at even the reality that is here, where Horizon Zero Dawn, made its way to PC in 2020, and PlayStation fans weren't so pleased about it, and all of the different shifts that have happened in the industry on the PlayStation side since then. I decided to go ahead and distill it down and even reduce it to a much more PlayStation focused timeline to showcase the shift from their previous stance of full-blown exclusivity, something you can compare to Nintendo before, now to where exclusivity is no longer seemingly their focus and is now an arbitrary position. We can also juxtapose it even to the FTC leaks that showed that PlayStation is spending way more money than Xbox and Nintendo, reportedly I say, and is making profits that are closer to Xbox and in retrospect almost 4 times less than Nintendo, which is very interesting. Now that we have these contexts in place, let's look at how this shift is going, because when people try to compare PlayStation's exclusivity stance with Nintendo, you have to tell them that actually they've blown that out of the water. I mean, they've gone full-blown multi-plat a long time ago. The media narrative has been shielding exactly what their moves are in all kinds of really interesting stuff. But when we distill it down, we see that around 2015, when PlayStation was at the height of one of what I think is its more influential times, it already put Helldivers on Steam. This was very interesting because if you think about it, ladies and gentlemen, even the whole conversation about Helldivers and such did not even come up until more recently when Helldivers 2 was coming out and had been already preceded by other PlayStation exclusives. But again, we move to 2017 where Insomniac is telling fans, hey man, we're not going to be bringing Spider-Man. It will never appear on Xbox. It will never appear on PC. It's a permanent PS4 exclusive. Then in 2020, Herman Holst is calming fans down because they're moving their game, Horizon Zero Dawn, to the PC platform. He basically is talking about how, they didn't really necessarily plan that every title was going to be coming to PC after that. And so again, the timeline is you're seeing these changes happen. But then in 2020, which they had moved Horizon Zero Dawn to PC, right? They'd been making these plans previously. Some other things were going on in the back end. They said there were no plans for day and date on PC. At the same time, MLB The Show and new agreements were being made for PlayStation to port their game to Xbox and even Game Pass. Now, in this particular agreement here, PlayStation had the option to say, you know what, we're going to get San Diego Studios making another game or whatever. But it seemed like they weren't interested in doing that. Instead, they were much more interested in earning money. And so they decided that their game, MLB The Show, would go to other platform. And the other platform strategy paid off. Many of you may or may not know there's a Berkshire Hathaway report that talks about MLB The Show. And I think if you look at it yourself, it would it will show you what is going on, and you should take a look at it, because if you look at it, you'll really get a sense as to what's going on. I think you can find the link if you look at MLB The Show sales on Wikipedia. That's where I usually get it from, because it's actually a Berkshire Hathaway company reporting that gets you to it. So if we go to the sales numbers for MLB The Show on Wikipedia, yes, the numbers are quite weird, but the most official numbers from this particular report showed us that PlayStation 5, in its reporting and how much it had done well, had seen MLB The Show 2021 from San Diego Studios be the fastest selling game in the franchise's history, with more than 2 million copies sold as of that year when the reporting was done. And basically, that sold across all platforms, and the game reached 4 million players. So this bet here with MLB The Show paid off. PlayStation needed that particular pipeline to maintain the game, and they signed the agreement to also make it happen. Now, we don't know how long talks had been in place, but I'll see people come and tell us that, well, that was an MLB game. Well, that's not the point. The point is the game was previously an exclusive game under PlayStation's banner and had been making many, many versions of the game since like 1997, but all of a sudden in 2021 or 2020, which probably they would have made the game and then launched it in 2021 or whatever, or maybe they'll name it the preceding year. The game is going to Xbox and is it in its most profitable form in that time. Then in 2022, you notice one thing is that all PlayStation games at this point now appear on PC, and more coming, with the timeline within which they appear closing and becoming shorter. So let me show you where we started. We started from Insomniac under PlayStation's banner saying that their game was going to be a permanent PlayStation exclusive, would not appear on PC or Xbox, to now expecting Marvel Spider-Man 2 in a few months this year. If we continue to go though, we can also see another shift from when Herman Holst said that there were no plans to get more AAA games on PC to saying all our live service games are going to be day one on PC. At the same time, in the same year, they launched Lego Horizon Adventures on PC. So there are multiple changes that have happened here that they didn't even inform their PlayStation audiences about. MLB The Show is one of them, and Lego Horizon Adventures Until Dawn Remake and Horizon Zero Dawn Remaster also is one of them. And 2025, we're getting a day and date, non-single player launch called Lost Soul Aside, coming on PC day one. In between that, in 2024, PlayStation has engaged in what I call license to port. This particular paradigm is where they're selling licenses of games that they previously owned in terms of the publishing rights, even development paradigms as well, and allowing for the new owners of the games to port them to Xbox. Two games come to mind: Predator Hunting Grounds and Death Stranding. Now, if anybody had told you that you would turn your Xbox on and see PlayStation Studios on not one, but two games, it would have shocked you. If somebody said that you would see it even on Nintendo, because Lego Horizon Adventures did go to Nintendo, as much as people may tell you, oh, that game doesn't belong to PlayStation, they're clearly lying to you. The game was developed by Guerrilla Studios. A Guerrilla producer is on record on Twitter celebrating the fact that they were able to make a game, and a Nintendo game at that. And at the end of the day, they're lying because they know that their whole shtick of exclusivity is fading very fast. Not just fading slowly, but fading very, very fast. In fact, they're moving the goalposts now and saying, well, when they bring their high-end games day one to PC, then we can have a discussion. No. I'm not having a discussion with you about your own requirement. I'm having a discussion about PlayStation's requirement that it changed without telling or informing you. And that's the standard by which I would go with. That's the standard by which we should go. PlayStation set the standard here, saying that releasing one first-party AAA game title to PC doesn't necessarily mean every game will now come to PC. And they changed the standard. So I don't have to answer to you. I have to basically stick with what PlayStation has said and see if they've actually held true to it. And they have not, because the business is changing. Their funding is in a very strange place. Spending all that money to make so little makes no sense if you're in a exclusive paradigm. And so right now, when you think about all that is said and done, I think these shifts have been necessary for PlayStation to reach a sustainable area. Because Xbox, being mocked at the time, looks really healthy having done it. The old school exclusivity paradigm is a fugazi. For PlayStation and Xbox to have engaged in it was at a time where we didn't know better. Now that we know better, now that we're seeing things better, now that we have access to more developers making games, I cannot emphasize to you how much this particular paradigm shift has made things very different for everyone. So, for anybody to brag about exclusivity or the superiority of the PlayStation console, you have to understand that the market doesn't care about the little console wars. These companies are all running the same racket, and they're all running it to make money. As a gamer, you ought to keep yourself informed so that you know exactly how to move, where you should spend your monies, where you should invest your your time and your expendable income or expendable expenditure, whatever you want to call it, on your entertainment. And that's why this is all a thing. Thanks for watching the video. Talk to me in the comment section. Hopefully we'll talk pretty soon in another one. Peace out.